yeah, because I'm a bit sick, I won't talk too much. But this should be fun though. We're doing figure drawing from old masters' drawings, because we're drawing from their work, we're not necessarily trying to copy their style. So there's a lot of intricate ink hatching in the shading here. We don't have time to copy that aspect of this, but we do have these beautiful poses, and because they have rendered the lighting, we've got nice lighting to play with here. So nothing changes from our usual figure drawing approach, and we do only have our 40 minutes or 35 minutes, so we will do probably 3 poses, maybe start a fourth. So it'll be about 10 minutes per pose. But as I say, nothing changes from what we've done in the past. We still have to capture gesture and balance and weight, and yeah. So the same thing applies. I'm still going to be doing like a central gesture line, and then working my way out from the center of mass, and then with whatever time there is, get into some tone and shading. So yeah, that's about it. I won't talk too much. We'll just treat it like a figure drawing session, but working from these references. So this first one is Albrecht Dürer, a drawing by him. And then we've got a Rembrandt and a Rubens, and maybe a Michelangelo if there's time. So yeah, let's jump in. So just notice the angle on the hips. They're not square, they're up on the right. And notice all these S curves like we've always done with our gestures. Remember at each step just to take a step back, look at it as a whole, and decide whether you feel like you've got proportions and balance working, and take the time to fix it if you need to before going on. It's a really nice flowing pose, this one. Right, in a minute or two, we'll have to stop on this one and move on, but we'll give it another couple of minutes. Okay, we should probably move on. So, that was Durer. Next up we have a Rembrandt. Now, I was worried about this one. Can you see this one clearly enough to draw from it?
It's a bit blotchy. We could try.
Well, let's do a short pose of this one. Let's do a 5 minute. I'll just set up the timer. We'll treat this as a warm-up pose and keep it short so we've got more time for the other ones. It's because it's horizontal and yeah, the image is not super high resolution, but I think it's okay for a warm-up gesture. type length. So let's do 5 minutes. So keep in mind, being 5 minutes, this is going to go by fairly quickly. So concentrate on gesture and proportion. And don't worry about trying to get the whole body in. Just work from the center area of interest out if you can. And we've got about a minute to go. All right, I think that's about it for 5 minutes. So yeah, that one, bit of a blurry reference, but hopefully something we could just do a quick gesture from anyway. So we can take our time a bit more with the next one or two. So that was Rembrandt, an ink drawing by him. Next we have Rubens. So getting a bit more complicated here. So take time with this one. It's a strange pose and angle. As you block it in, take a step back and keep checking what you're drawing to make sure that you're happy with proportion and the flow of the pose. But yeah, otherwise, I guess the focal point, well, the darkest tonal point is that shadow under this foreground arm. So if anything was the center of mass or center of interest, I guess it's that. So yeah, let's jump into this one. So I'm looking for the line down the spine as my sort of gesture line. As, you know, if I can. Lots of details to get lost in here, but try, since we're doing, only 10 minutes, try to stay focused on the big picture, big shapes. You can always go in and start putting more contour detail later. Interesting how different it feels working from these drawings than it does working from our usual photos. You just realize how unusual and dynamic and unique these poses really are. It's so easy to get lost in the details of how they've drawn certain things. And notice how much in both of these, I don't know if you're noticing the difference between this and when we work from life, from a photograph of a model, is just the sheer exaggeration of anatomy that these artists do. They exaggerate every lump, every part where the bone touches the surface of the skin or the muscle does the same. And so I go on about exaggeration when we, through all these classes, and yeah, you can sort of see why when you study these drawings. They're practicing their anatomy in all these. We might stick on this pose to the end because I don't think there's any point starting a new one before the end, so we might as well just focus on this one. The next one was just a close-up of back muscles anyway by Michelangelo, and we're working on a view of back muscles here anyway, so might as well just take our time for the next 10 minutes on this one. We've got about 7 minutes to go. Bit of time to get into some shading, for me anyway. All right, I'll have to wrap up soon in case it cuts out on us. I don't know how you guys have felt. I felt like this is really difficult.
Me too. The muscle is crazy.
It's
Yeah.
such an unusual pose. I mean, this one in particular, but the last two have not been easy. It's not easy to find straightforward poses by the old masters because their studies are usually on something quite dynamic and interesting, which is the whole point. But I don't know. I find this fascinating to do because
It's beautiful.
it's just everything's perfect, and you're just trying to just follow along best you can, and it's just. So artistically, it's very satisfying. I think it's very good for you. It's sort of almost shocking how different it is to working from a photo or even from life, because it's just another level of ability and detail and mastery. Yeah. I used to draw more from the old masters and do watercolor sketches. It's something, having done this tonight now, I'm realizing I should probably do more of, because you really feel like you learn a lot. You really, I think by doing this, you get to get into their head in a fascinating way that any non-artist will never experience. So yeah, it's a good exercise.
It's exaggerated, but it's good fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I know the video's going to cut out any minute now. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. And
Yeah, it was fun. I really liked that.
keep,
Not easy, but nice.
yeah, that is a particularly difficult ones as well. That's something we'll definitely do again. All right. See you guys later.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan.
See ya. Thank you.
All right.
And take care.
Yeah. Thanks. I'll have a sick day tomorrow.
All right.